Hey, everyone. It is your favorite CEO, Miss Flo, and welcome to another episode of Neon Mike, where the conversations just close. I'm here with a very special guest who I actually met through one of my other guests, 007, and she really recommended you for this show. So I'm very excited to get to know you. So you could go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Khalil, and I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm a comedian. Been doing it about 5, 6 months, and just like how 007 recommended me for you, she recommended you for me. So I'm happy to be on today.
Yeah, just look at all that connection happening right there. Like, isn't it beautiful? So, you're fairly new to the comedy game. Like, how is it for you, just getting your toes in the water?
I have to say, like in these couple of months of doing it, it's been people ask me a lot of times, was I nervous or like anything like that? But comedy, I have to say, you have to be very comfortable in doing it because you have to talk about things that you may not necessarily most people won't feel comfortable talking about. So I have to say, with me and what I've been through, I was pretty confident getting on the stage the first time around, and since then it's just been it's gotten easy. I've gotten more confident in doing this. So
Well, that's good to hear. What are some of the local clubs that you're performing at?
so since I've been doing it, there's a spot called Hamilton Bar and Grill, and the name of the show for that is called Spaghetti on the Beach. So I've done there. I've done a place called Tacoma Station. Let's see. I've done one called one that I did recently was called Flip Comedy out of Virginia. So yeah, I've been working my way around the DC Virginia area. I haven't done Maryland yet, but just from what I've like from my friends who do like 007 do music, I've learned that you gotta just work your way around the different clubs. So I'm trying to discover more as I progress.
I mean, that's a good way to approach it. I don't think DC is really known for its comedy scenes, even though, like, you see promo ads when, legends come through, but it's like New York or California that has the strongest reputation for really, like, building up comedians. But, I have, like, actually know a couple others that are, making their way in the comedy scene in the DMV. For you, like, how are you necessarily like making your lane? How are you standing out? Because it can be a very competitive field, and the art of comedy is
Mm.
very subjective. So, like, what are you doing to make yourself stand out?
I mean, so far when it comes when I walk into these rooms that I'm doing, like I go in there and I get like 5 minutes to do my set, and so I think it's just about when I get on stage. I mean, a lot of comedy, like comedians, be telling jokes about ourselves and the world around us, and so a lot of times I do find myself talking about certain topics that the other comedians before me will talk about, but it's just about your personal experience in terms of what you are talking about, whether it's about dating or politics or celebrities. And so I think it's all about that personal spin that you put on it that would separate you from yourself from others, or it's about how you tell the joke. Or for me, I tell stories. So like if I like a lot of my jokes, a lot of times it's coming with a story. So it's really about to make yourself stand out. It's about how you are presenting the jokes to the audience. So
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I feel that's one of my favorite styles of comedy, is just because a lot of times we just end up almost seems like you're living in a sitcom sometimes, and just
mhm.
like the most random thing can happen. It feels good that you have like a platform to share like these great stories and one storyteller to another. Very admiring to see. So, what made you want to become a comedian?
So with comedy has always been a big part of my life. Like growing up, Comedy was in my house. My mom, we used to watch like let's see, one of my favorite comedians. Well, Dave Chappelle. Being from DC, Dave Chappelle was one. Watching like Half Baked and Chappelle Show, and many other works. But so comedy was always in the house. But one of the reasons why I started doing comedy, and a lot of people will be like, "Wow, it's not you that you can feel comfortable talking about these things that aren't the easy to talk about." Was that last year my my mom passed away,
Oh,
and the year before my dad passed away, and so for me, this is my therapy. Like, you know, how some people will go and I should go talk to a therapist. For me, getting up on that stage in front of these crowds and talking to them, that has been my therapy. So this has been that's been a big part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. But also it's fun. Me and my friends, we're always laughing just in general, and so the conversation came a while ago about like, yo, we should do comedy. Like, why aren't we like people laugh like people always tell like we're funny. So why aren't we on stage somewhere like getting like having like crowds and rooms laugh at us? So it's part therapy, but also just doing something that just has always been a part of me, who I am and who me and my friends are.
well, first let me say I'm sorry for your loss. I know that could be that's challenging to lose like both parents in a short time span.
Thank
And
you.
I also like I have seen other comedians say the same thing.
Mm,
Being on stage is their therapy. What part of it is like very therapeutic to you, as opposed to just saying it to like to one person who is a licensed doctor, but
mm,
to a group of strangers? Like it is, you know what I mean? Like not just like they're not always friendly.
mm.
I've seen, the hecklers and things like that. So what is it about like telling your story to a group of strangers that's just very therapeutic to you?
Man, when you're talking to a therapist, and it's kind of the same thing. I mean, obviously you're talking to you're talking more than just one person. But when I remember, like when I think after I lost my dad, I was trying to figure out how to process. And it took some time. I think it took till after my mom, but the process of just like how like me dealing with that kind of pain, and so after my mom passed, it was like, okay, two of the most important people in my life, they're not here for me to talk to anymore. And from there, it's like, okay. I mean, my friends, my friends, I always will contribute to one of my biggest, like a big part of my support system. And so they were there for me in those tough times. But something about like, okay, I needed to do more than just talk to them. And the first thing that came to mind was comedy. It's like, okay, I've seen people like my whole life get up like on TV, get on stage and talk about some of the toughest times in their life. And I had like, okay, what if I did that? What if I got on stage and talk about like losing my parents, or and lots of times sometimes comedy is embarrassing. So yeah, it just felt natural to be able. I felt like I would feel more comfortable getting on stage and talking about my life, my hardships, than talking to one person in a room and they're getting paid for it. So
Mm.
it just felt like the more comfortable, natural route for me to go.
Oh, so it's more like you like the just that human connection, like with everybody in the room, 'cause everybody goes through similar things. Whether in a lot of times we don't necessarily realize that, but like to speak on your experience and how it like may resonate with multiple people. So it's like softens the blow a little bit. So like I get what you're saying. Like I completely understand that. Um,
Mm.
as you are making your rounds in the DMV with your comedy career, what are like some of the lessons that you've learned? Because like you're still sharpening your routine as you're getting out there. So what is something that you're working on and how are you building yourself up? in with your routine?
Okay. I like that question. One thing that I'm learning is to how to really like have control of the time that I have while I'm on stage. Because like I said, I'm right now it's been like 5 minutes set. So it's learning how to manage that time because when you get up on there, you it might like part of it is wanting to like already knowing what jokes you're gonna say, but it's like every word matters. So you want to make sure that you are phrasing each joke, each punchline appropriately and in that time frame because right now, like I said, it's only been 5 minutes. But I know eventually it's gonna build to 10 minutes or 20. And then eventually it's going to the point where who knows? Well, not even who knows, but when I get to the point where I can maybe have my own like hour set. And so with those time frames, you learn to manage your time and what you say. So I think that's been a big part, but also, and the fact that I'm doing like this interview is like when I was growing up, I had a stutter. Well, and I still have a stutter, but learning how to really slow down when I communicate and when I talk to people because I want to make sure that everyone in the crowd is hearing what I say. And so if I'm talking too fast or I'm stuttering, then the people won't be able to understand me. So I really have to learn to really once again it's about the comfortability, but really slowing down and say like making sure they hear what I say in the time frame that I say it. So those have been some of the biggest lessons that I've learned, like communication and being vocal and time management.
Wow. Like, thank you for sharing your vulnerability because public speaking, I think, and I'm seeing that a lot with my students, is that it's such a big fear because they
Mm-hmm.
worry about being judged, ridiculed, and really fearful of being vulnerable on stage. But to hear that you're overcoming um, stuttering, like that's like so inspiring. What advice do you have for other young performers out there, whether it's comedy or, something similar in that realm?
Um, well, I think the thing is, I like growing up. There were things that I involved myself in that helped me get to this point. When I was in when I was in high school, I was in the drama club and debate team. So those were things that you have to use your voice in order to do. And so when I think about what I do, what, like doing comedy now, those things really like helped me prepare for. Like I didn't know then but those things really help prepare me to do this because debate, just like comedy, you have a time frame to talk, and so back then I had to learn to I got up in front of the teams that I was competing against, and they were like, okay, you have 5 minutes to give your points, and so I had to learn back then to okay, have a minute for this topic, like a minute or two for this topic, and I had to have the beginning and then and the end. And so doing debate and then doing drama and being able to have the confidence to get in front of once again a crowd and in that case acting I feel like is different because you're you're putting on the character of someone else in front of a crowd. And so things like that really did I think like I said developed me for doing what I do now. So I credit my teachers and my debate coaches back then because I don't think back then I had no idea that I'd be using what they taught me then to use it now in comedy.
And that's great advice. I wonder, like, as you were going around and doing your circuit, like, what is the very first joke that you told as you like started your comedy career?
Okay, that's a great question. So the first joke I told was so you know who Bob Barker is from The Price is Right?
Yes, grew up on.
Okay, so the joke was because he had and so he had just passed recently, and basically the joke was that my little brother, him and my mom had moved to Georgia, and they had moved back, and so my little brother wasn't here when everything that happened on January 6th with the Trump protesters and everything.
Mhm.
And so the joke was basically that Bob Barker, um, he was in a movie called Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler, where him and Adam Sandler end up fighting. And so the joke was basically that I told my little brother, I was like, hey, you haven't been up here in a while. It was all these crazy people going around like riding, like storming the Capitol. And I was like, basically, that what would you rather like? That was like that's what you call it's like a bunch of angry white men. What would you prefer, like Bob Barker, Sam Sandler, or these crazy people running down on the Capitol? So that was the first joke, but I was prepared. Like I had like a whole bunch of other jokes that I was prepared to say like on top of that because it's like okay, I already knew once again from watching that day. I was watching like okay, if you want to go on the stage, you gotta be prepared to. You gotta already know what you want to say before you go to that stage.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, sometimes the crowd could be very intense. Some of them could be very nice and friendly, and others it's no mercy.
Mm-hmm.
It's and like how do you prepare for like the hecklers? Because that's my biggest worry
Mm-hmm.
when like in comedy. Because it's like you see these posts online, people have the audacity being rude. Um just kind of like almost like ruin everybody's fun. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, how do you like have you thought or like first of all, have you encountered a heckler yet? And if so, like how did you handle that person?
So, I haven't experienced the hecklers yet, but I know that they come because it's just naturally. I think it's part of comedy. You're gonna get somebody who's gonna be either not thinking you're funny or something that you said might have hit them the wrong way, and so I haven't dealt with it yet. Um, but I know that it's gonna come. I have a coworker, and she jokes about it. We really joke about it because she wants to come to a show of mine, and she's like, Brian, depending on how you do, I might get up and like, because she said she had just a video of her heckling somebody at a show, and because the person and this is the person that was doing the comedy, this person pointed her out in the crowd and tried to like go on her, and so she responded and got she said she got up on stage and heck with the comedian back. So I was like, I think with her like, no, I don't want that to be the case. So I think it's just about yeah, responding to it in a positive manner because you can't get mad. You can't. I don't think you should get mad about like if you get a heckler because that's it. Because like I said, I feel like it's a test. It's a test to see how you, let's say, how you're gonna respond, react. Because yeah, there are videos of people who get heckled, and depending on how you respond to it, it could help your career. I think it could, or it it could be bad depending on if you have like a negative reaction. So if somebody does like get up and start heckling me, I'm gonna just do my best to make a joke about it or make them a part of my routine.
I think that's fair. Sometimes you have to fight negativity with positivity, and sometimes it's like this like the best approach.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was wondering, did you see the Cat Williams interview in the Shay Shay Club?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, no, so I haven't watched it, and just in general, I have to like get used to it because then I can't really sit down for too long and watch like long interviews. But
Mm.
in terms of comedy, I need to start watching like those kind of interviews more. But I know about the Cat Williams interview. And I know like a lot of like the important like the certain topics they talked about that people have been discussing. So yeah, I'm very aware of it.
So I was like, he did speak on how the comedy, like with his experience with comedy, especially working with he called out a lot of iconic comedians on their BS. So the biggest concern is like joke stealing.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, it's a no-no, but it appears to like happen more frequently than we were privy to. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what would you do if anybody stole your jokes? Or better yet, um, the better question would be in terms of like finding your inspiration. You know what I mean? Because we understand, you said you get it from your personal experience, as a storyteller. But like, is there any joke that you saw that, you might have gotten inspiration from? Or like, what are your thoughts on like joke stealing in general?
Okay. So joke stealing. And I think there's like something like joke stealing is something that if somebody accuses you of it, it's like chances are you were stealing someone's joke. And to me, like whenever people ask me about comedy, I'm like I believe that should come from personal experiences. So if someone is stealing the joke or is getting the joke stolen from them, then that means that the person that's doing the stealing, or if you're the one doing the stealing, is that means that you have no. I don't think you. I mean that you don't have like the creativity in you because you had to go and steal somebody else's joke. I don't ever want to. My goal I don't ever want to get accused of stealing from this joke. I want everything that I say to be original because when I think about it, and I think about it, and I hope other people in the comedian feel I think about it as well. But I equate it to like in the rap when people are accused of not writing their own lyrics and being accused of having ghostwriting and all that. And yeah, I want to be one. I want everything that I say on stage I want it to be from a peer, from my thoughts, my experiences, and so I know it's like I'm still new to it, but yeah, I'm gonna let anyone know like going forward that then I will not I don't ever my parents will never be accused of stealing a joke. Everything that I say comes from my heart and from my head. So if someone steals a joke, uh, I feel like it needs to like you have to talk to that person directly. Like it's not about what the entire world thinks. It's about you have to approach that person like one on one and like, hey, you like why did you feel like the need to steal my joke and how can we like reconcile and fix this and move forward? Maybe you if you need now I'll help people write jokes, but never steal. So if that person needs help writing jokes, then I'll help them. But like stealing in any fashion is wrong. So I would, in a positive way, want to like handle the situation.
Yeah, I think you should probably charge people. I mean, like you said, you do help people with with their jokes, and if they're so bold to like steal it from you or they use it on their platform, I'm just like, well, you're gonna have to pay a fee. But that's just my, how I would handle things. Um, so what is currently going on? Are you in terms of like your comedy career? Like where can we see you next in the coming weeks?
Okay, so with that, and once again, it's still like I said, learning new spots because I've been trying to like switch it up every week because I know that there are places that now I've gotten comfortable doing. So like I said, one space I do, I'm trying to see if I could perform tomorrow. But if not, because I work in some my schedule is kind of complicated because I'm off during the week. I mean, like I'm off during the weekend, work during the weekends. So I would love to find more spots for the weekend because I feel like those are the more popular ones where people can really come out for the people who have like 9 to 5 jobs. But like I said, there's this place called it's called well the name of the show is called Spaghetti on the Beach. Um, Another place I've done, I do. I'm gonna talk to them. Is it's called Mic Drop DMV. That's Tacoma Station Tavern. Um, and so the couple of weeks it's gonna be a mixture of doing some of my old places, but also just like I said finding new spots. And I didn't like you said earlier, I didn't know about all the comedy clubs until I got into it myself. But there are places in like DC Improv.
Yes.
That's one of my big ones that I want to go to because I know that's where Dave Chappelle got his start, and a lot of when like you said the legends come into town, that's where they go. So I want to eventually find my way there. DC Comedy Law, so U Street, A Street, All of the big like where the nightlife of DC is. That's where I want to be at. Like so, I'm gonna like I'm gonna always post about or I post and DM people about where I'm gonna be at. So yeah, the plan is to be as busy as possible. If I'm not working, then I if I'm not working, then I'm if I'm not working, then I'm working. That's the idea of how I'm gonna move going forward.
Got you. And where can the people find you on social media?
Social media, my Instagram name is Bucket Hat Khalil. And I also have I have a TikTok, Khalil Crawford, a Twitter, Khalil Crawford. Um, but I'm still getting used to. I mean, I have social media, but I'm getting used to like using it for comedy. I have to learn to post more because I'm
Mhm.
not the most social media savvy person. So if anyone wants to like follow me, then I'm more. I message people directly and let them know where I'm going to be at. So yeah, Buckhead Khalil is my main. It's my Instagram, and so from there I can just get like point people to my other social media outlets.
Well, that's great. Make sure you guys follow and see how you guys glowed from that conversation. I'm gonna catch you guys next time. All right. Bye.
Thank you.